Get a buck.
Okay.
You know, how much more do you need?
All right, you've sort of ignored inflation since the 1960s, haven't you?
I've done that too, and there's no cost of living increase for the intern. It doesn't work that way.
No.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. We will get to the World Series no-hitter in a moment, but we begin today with developing news about Kyrie Irving. Last night, the Nets and Irving released a statement with the Anti-Defamation League in which they agreed to donate $500,000 each towards, quote, causes and organizations that work to eradicate hate and intolerance in our communities, unquote. In the statement, Irving said he took responsibility for what was seen as his endorsement of an anti-Semitic book and movie, but he did not apologize, nor did he during a brief media session today. Also today, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver issued a statement calling Irving's original social media post, quote, a reckless decision, unquote, and added that he was, quote, disappointed Kyrie has not offered an unqualified apology and more specifically denounced the vile and harmful content contained in the film he chose to publicize, unquote. Silver further said he would meet with Irving in the next week. Wilbon, what do you make of these developments?
Well, Tony, we'll start with the $500,000 donation, which will benefit someone. Those are real dollars. They will benefit someone to that effort. But, Tony, it's fraudulent in that it's a PR effort. I mean, and the reason it's fraudulent is because Kyrie Irving did not, as usual, take any accountability for, in this case, his words. He never does. Now, among his words, and I listened to every word of his press conference, he said he is a guiding light. He, Kyrie Irving, a guiding light, which says to me, because he loses me there, that he's just a dangerous egomaniac. That's what he is. So he never takes accountability. He doesn't get it. He turned himself into a victim. I'm sure you heard it too. So he's a victim and he's a guiding light, which means there's no accountability whatsoever. And that is why Adam Silver, in part, is going to wind up talking to him, Tony. The league understands. I know the commissioner must understand what this makes everybody look like who just passes on Kyrie Irving if they do. This is a problem.
Yeah. All right. So when I first heard about the donation to the ADL, I thought, well, what is this about? He hasn't apologized. You're just throwing money at this?
Yeah.
You think you can get him out on the court by throwing money at the problem without an apology? And I thought, you got to be kidding, right? Mike, this is personal for me on a lot of levels, differently than most people, because I am Semitic myself. I have watched you on the show many times say people who look like me can't go here or can't do this, and I listen and watch with great sympathy. I know what the Holocaust was. I know that people that look like me were exterminated like rats. So I know what the extent of anti-Semitism can be, and it makes me very, very nervous and afraid in those sorts of situations. I was amazed, Mike, that the league condemned anti-Semitism as hate speech, but never mentioned Kyrie Irving, who I felt endorsed that particular hate speech. Now I'm glad Adam Silver has stood up, because I thought he was acting very weakly. I'm glad he has stood up. In effect, he has called Kyrie Irving to the principal's office. I think he's given him a week because he hopes there'll be an apology and he won't have to do something like suspend him. But down the road, I think he's going to have to, and I'll tell you why, Mike. This is the league of Robert Sarver and the league of Donald Sterling. It is the league that is against hate on all levels. It can't just be for the owners.
That's right.
It's got to be for the players,
That's
too.
right, Tony. This has a lot more. Look, Tone, I said this the first day, that Kyrie is the biggest problem. But way larger than firing Steve Nash and all this other stuff. Kyrie's the big problem with that team, that franchise. It attaches itself to the league. If the league doesn't say, no, we are not with you. The union, name him. We're not talking about all your players. We're talking about this dude who's dangerous because he's smart enough, though he's not nearly as smart as he thinks he is or nearly as literate as he thinks he is. He is a dangerous dude because he's smart enough to, Tony, appeal to some people and have some charisma to him, strangely and weirdly enough. And so this is a problem the league is going to have to deal with. There's no running from it. There's no hiding from it. We move to the World Series with 4 Astros pitchers combining last night to no-hit the Phillies. Only the second no-hitter in World Series history. The first, of course, is the most famous no-hitter of all, Don Larson's perfect game in 1956. Christian Javier was the Astros starter last night. He brilliantly went 6 innings and struck out 9 Phillies. Earlier this season, Javier started a combined no-no against the Yankees. Alec Bohm and Kyle Schwarber downplayed the impact of the no-hitter and what it might mean to the Phillies, with Bohm saying, quote, "Nobody cares," close quote. Tone, what impact do you think this no-hitter will now have on the rest of the series?
Yeah. So I know this was technically a no-hitter. I get that. And I have an appreciation for the relievers as they came in inning after inning after inning, not wanting to give up a hit and keep the no-hitter. But, you know, I'm not impressed with those kinds of no-hitters as much as other kinds. I'm more like Alec Bohm in the sense I go, oh, okay. And I get it, Mike. Starters have a pitch count and relievers come in for 1 inning. That's basically